It's the Shore Sports MD Overtime Live Game of the Week Coaches Interview. We're coming to you from Salisbury and Wycomico County High School, as this week our Preston Ford Game of the Week has Easton hosting these Wycomico Indians with a kickoff at 6 o'clock, pregame show at 5:40, and the Kona Ice tailgate party at Easton beginning at 5 o'clock. The game being aired on the radio on the Midshore at 94.3 Winx FM, but anywhere on Delmarva and across the world at forevermidshore.com and the Forever Radio app. We're here with Wycomico head coach Isaiah Taylor. And, Coach, I appreciate your time. And first, this game is a huge matchup. I have you guys number one in my power poll and Easton number 3. Is that something that the coaches or even players are talking about right now, or you'll wait to the end of the season and let the dust settle?
Yeah, I would say for us, Mike, it's definitely something that, we take a look at and appreciate, but I would say we try to keep our guys as humble as possible and keep that chip on our shoulder. I always remind the guys of the work that we did to get to where we are, so that we don't kind of lose that eye of the tiger. And so, no, it's definitely an honor, but around these parts, we definitely want to remain in a place of humility.
You guys are off to a 2-0 start. Are you guys where you thought you'd be at this point? Not necessarily win-loss record, but just in terms of the development. Are you ahead of schedule or maybe even behind schedule, though that seems hard to believe right now?
Yeah, after watching the film of that game, we saw how many mistakes we made, and we were like, we're not there yet. So right now we're looking at our team and we see our potential. Obviously whenever you can win a game big like that and have a ton of mistakes, it should hopefully let you know, hey, our potential is pretty high. So no, I would say we still got a lot of work to do.
This is an Easton program with Matt Griffith back as head coach. They've got 20 seniors, but they've got a lot of youth playing as well, so it's kind of a mixture there. Obviously, in the O'Connor, they've got a quarterback who can run and throw. Whatever you can tell us, Coach, can you give us a little insight as to what you see from this Easton team, and how do you go about being successful Friday night?
Well, I knew that Easton would definitely be a lot better than last year, given that Coach Griffith is back. A lot of respect to Coach Griffith and all that he's done for the game and at Easton High School. And so, with that being said, I think our game plan, it's no secret. We got to stop number 2. He's the focal point of what they do offensively. I think he's the heart and soul of what they do defensively. And so, I think we want to try to put them in a position where they're uncomfortable. We want them to do some things that are uncharacteristics and apply some pressure on both sides of the ball, whatever way that may be. And so, but I think it all stems around us being able to, stop the quarterback and be able to control the clock late in the game, especially against an offense that's very, very fast. We want to be able to control the clock, and we got to tackle well. I watch film, and their guys are doing a great job of extending plays, and so we just got to tackle and get 11 hats to the ball.
I know offense, you certainly talk about Darius Foreman, Malik Leatherberry. Your defense has shut out both opponents so far. They'll have a tough task on Friday. But an area that doesn't get talked about enough is special teams. Last year, you guys were successful in that venture, and this year as well. Obviously, Malik Leatherberry is a very talented individual. But is that an area that you stress maybe more than maybe some other Bayside teams do?
Oh, man, Coach Davis is – I tell him I give him the utmost credit for what he does for our program. We are a special teams first kind of program, and that credit also goes back to Coach Sherman Wood, who was our college coach, and he implemented that in us. We practice about every special teams per day, and they get 15-minute segments. We record our special teams in practice so we can go back and evaluate and see what mistakes we're making. I go back to a game last year. We had a very high-scoring game with the team last year. We had 2 return touchdowns that game. And if we did not have those touchdowns, we wouldn't have won that game. And so, special teams plays a huge part in our success. This season so far, I believe we have 3 special teams touchdowns and 2 block punts. At this point, it speaks volumes to who we are as a program. Special teams, really is a huge part of what we do.
Final question for you, Coach. We talk about O'Connor in this game, but we've got to talk about your quarterback, Foreman, as well, and the fact that he's really developed as not just a runner but a passer as well, and obviously a focal point of your offense outside of Leatherberry.
Yeah, Darius Foreman has done an incredible job this offseason in improving his passing skills and becoming more efficient, improving his IQ as a quarterback because, his whole life he grew up playing running back, and obviously you see he's a great defensive player as well. So I think it's been a great challenge, and he's accepted it. Being able to, control the offense, be that leader, that captain of the offense, and still be as intense as he is on defense. We have to calm him down a lot because he's a very intense kid. I don't know if I've ever coached a kid that loves football more than Darius. And so, again, he's accepted every challenge we've thrown at him. Obviously, this year we've kind of changed our offense slightly and become a more up-tempo team. Obviously with some weapons like Malik and Jalen DeShield and Deshaun Outlaw, and our running back being a three-headed kind of monster. Darius has just been a focal point of what we do, and so I'm looking forward to see what he can do this Friday night. I think, it's a great battle of two really good quarterbacks, so we'll see how we end up.
Yeah, Coach, I appreciate it. Here's to a great game Friday night.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Again, the Overtime Live Preston Ford Game of the Week Friday as Easton hosts these Wycomico Indians. Again, 94.3 Winks FM, ForeverMidshore.com, and the Forever Radio app. We now send it to Easton, and Mark Potter is with head coach Matt Griffith.
Thanks, Mike. I'm here with Matt Griffith, head coach of the Easton Warriors, and we've made our way into his coaching's office. The brain trust, I guess. This is where it all goes down to prepare for your game coming up on Friday night against WiHi. What has practice been like this week?
So far, we've had a pretty good week of practice, coming off a good win Friday night against Kent County, and the boys responded well Saturday morning and been business since.
So WiHi, they present a lot of challenges. First of all, they haven't given up a touchdown this year. They played Washington. They played North Carolina. What kind of challenges do they present to you for your offense?
They present all kind of challenges on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they're fast, they're big, they got great athletes. They're coached up well, and we're going to have our hands full.
So what are we going to do? This doesn't go out until Friday, so WiHi doesn't have a chance to look and look at this and say, so that's what they're going to do. So as a coach, the JV coach of the Easton Warriors, I'm on huddle. I go this week because I said, you know what? I bet their game plan is on there. So I went to look to see what you're doing. I couldn't get into varsity huddle. I mean, you've even cut me out.
Well, we got to keep everything hush-hush. This is a big week for us, playing a really good team. You said they haven't given up points. They've also scored over 100 points, I believe, too. So we got our hands full on both sides of the ball. We're going to worry about us. We're going to try to play Easton football and do the things that we've done thus far this year to be successful, and hopefully it works out for us.
You had told me earlier this week that Leatherberry was a stud, and he's a tough matchup. And no matter how you look at him, he's one of those kids you actually related him to. I believe it was Marquand Green from Kent County, just electrifying. Those were your words.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's something. He's fast. He's athletic. He's smart. You put him in space, he's a problem. Marquand Green was a lot of the same way. I actually told the coaches, I think, Leatherberry might be a little bit better than what Marquand was, and Marquand was a great football player. And, we're going to have to do a great job of trying to keep the ball out of his hands and doing a great job of corralling and tackling with 11 hats to the ball when he does have it.
Going to be a lot of fun this Friday night on 94.3 Winks FM and ForeverMidshore.com. We'll get the party started at Easton High School with the Kona Ice Tailgate Party from 5 to 5:30. The Roto-Rooter pregame show is at 5:40. And, of course, the Bear kickoff at 6 o'clock. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week as we'll have Easton and Parkside as our Preston Ford Game of the Week.